have a question for you. Did you have a strong male figure in your life growing up?
My great granddaddy, but he died when I was 16.
So I think that I believe that the lack of a strong male father figure in a young person's life, I'll tell you, I'm an example of that. My parents got divorced when I was young, and for some reason or other, God did passed me off to a different person every day. Even by me joining the Army, that's 2 summers it kept me out of trouble, But all throughout my life, God passed me off to somebody else, and I don't know why I got that blessing and some people don't. But now we try to be that blessing to somebody else.
Hey, that really do make a difference. My dad went there for me, and I feel like he didn't want me.
And another thing I want y'all to see is that what he was just talking about, and I'm not trying to hog the conversation or anything, but he's talking about love. He's talking about the love of God and everything. If we get the government can screw up more stuff. We get the government involved, we're gonna mess everything up. We're gonna blow a lot of money doing it and everything. Our only solution to this is our churches, is our faith-based organizations, because you have people who love, who care, who are generous, who will accept people the way they are. That's the only way we're going to make it through this. At our jail, we have 50 different churches coming in our jail and ministering to inmates. That's the only way we're going to make it.
Christy, you're in charge of the trustees?
Yes.
At Rankin County?
Female trustees.
Tell us about your female trustees. Okay. Tell us about what you do and how that kind of goes into crime prevention. Of course, now you're already catching people on the other side after they've done something, but what happens with the trustee there that will keep them from coming back?
Well, so we interview trustees, interview different female inmates to see if they would qualify for the trustee program. So they can't have like a violent charge or a sexual charge, but when we interview them, we ask them a little bit about their background, like what happened in your childhood, or when did you start doing drugs, or whatever crime it was. And a lot of them, like I said, is a lack of a father figure. They didn't have a father figure, or they might have some kind of father figure, but that abused them in a way, and that's kind of a root where things started in their life. So in the trustee program, when they become a trustee, every night we have different classes. They have Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian-based recovery program. They have NA come in, Narcotics Anonymous. They have different church groups come in at night to help them. We also have Families First, who comes in once a week, and they do different classes with them, like parenting classes and job skills, relationship classes, things to really set them up for success that they haven't had maybe on the outside. But when they're here, we try to help them build a good foundation, so when they get out, they have a more chance to succeed.
And something interesting, just piggybacking off what the sheriff said, we always talk about the father figure for boys and for young men. But it's interesting to hear you talk about the fact our girls need that father figure, that protection, that safety, that this is how I want to be treated when I reach womanhood. And really, only a man can teach you that.
Well, and I want you, Christy and I were talking to a group of females. There were 10 females in our meeting, or 10 trustees, and Christy and I. 8 of the 10 females had been sexually abused as a child, and that was the base for their drug addiction. They were trying to cover up that hurt. So we have Region 8 come in. We have, we offer mental counseling. Another thing, we have mentoring programs where people come in and mentor the inmates, and hopefully that'll follow them outside the program. But you'd be surprised at the people in jail, basic things. They've never had a checking account. They have no financial education at all. They don't know how to manage money. And there's just so many things that we want to offer, and try to, like I said, we try to set them up for success. Where 9 years ago, I could care less about them. Y'all lock them up, throw away the key, let's get some more. But the only difference between that person in jail and me is my sin didn't put me in jail and theirs did. I'm a sinner just like they are.
Yeah, it's something I say to students quite often. How is it you can say so-and-so down the street is a convict, but you have a family member who has also served time, but you refer to that person as just your family member? Why is the label different? And that we are all one step away from being on the other side. And why are we labeling people once they get out? We claim We want them to be productive citizens, but you block them on every side they try. Go for a job, no, can't live here because of the type of felony, you had a felony. Okay, they didn't have resources going in. And now you're bringing them out with even less. Society talks out of two sides, and we have not decided yet, I'll say we as a society, some citizens have, to try to help people. Now, I sponsored a person we met in prison. He was on a speaking team when we would carry students in every year. He asked us to go to parole board on his behalf. We asked the lieutenant, and the lieutenant said, I would go, but we are prohibited. He said, but he has squelched so many riots in this institution because of the respect people have for him. He's the only person I would go to the board for. We went for him in 1998. By 2000, he had come out, bought his house, and his house now is almost paid for. He pretty much works 14 hours a day. One time he's working 2 full-time jobs. So he says to us, you know, I thank you and Dr. Johnson for taking a chance on me.
In your professional opinion, in my opinion, I believe that 80% of the people sitting in the Rankin County Jail right now are never going to change. They're going to be back and forth. I believe there's 20% in there that want to change. They just need a helping hand to get them up. You agree with, or what's your number on that?
You said something about the county jail. You got to remember, I did 20 years almost.
Yeah, and that's why I'm looking at this. I'm just saying from even the prison.
What she said, I like what she said about the guy that she was just talking about. Cause that's what I'm trying to do. For all my friends doing life without parole, and that's the ones who got parole and then going up, I'm trying to be an example for that. Some of them do deserve another chance. People that sat down a long time, they done had time to think. A lot of time they crime happened when they were young, they was heavily influenced. But a lot of people have changed. There's a lot of good people.
But I get even in the state prison where you came from, where you did your time.
Right.
How many people do you think actually want to change?
About 20%.
What do you think, Doug? So
I would say there are very few.
So what we have to do is we have to figure out a way to filter out that 80% and let's get that 20%. And that's what we try to do in the jail. But, you know, if we're going to, you know, I think that we need to look at a way to do it statewide, nationwide, you know, is filter that 20%.
If you've been here 3 or 4 times, the system really is wasting money on you because you're not going to change. You come up to your date to go home and you catch another charge. You don't want to be out. You're institutionalized, and you recognize that you're institutionalized. The system needs to find somewhere to put you, maybe in a transition home, so that you can work in the institution and keep the institution running. But keeping you in prison is not helping you. You're going to have to get that person and then deprogram them. You're fortunate, Teron, in the fact that you can come back, you've got a good support system, and a good support system is 9/10 of the battle. If you don't have a support system, you're just throwing them out there to whoever will say, you know, come on over to this side, we're going to get high today. That's the side they go to, that's where they stay. But the idea is to identify those persons early on in your program, Christy, where
Separate
you
them.
can, separate them out. Even to the point of not even letting them be trustees. And I say that because work with those people you've identified, they don't want to go anywhere. So you keep them as your trustees. The people you've identified as really trying, set up another program for them where you're working on nothing but life skills, education, and you can focus your attention that way. Keep the ones that want to stay, let them be trusted.
And I guess that's the difference from what he said. You know, I'm looking at a county jail, so in our program, you know, pretty much it's all non-violent offenders, because I'm letting them, you know, at the end of this process, when they get their promotions within the trustee program, they're just below being an employee. I mean, they have free reign to go do whatever. Every one of them, I make sure they have a job, a place to live. Some of them I've given vehicles or helped get vehicles. We have a reverse welfare program. They get an apartment for free to start with, and in the 12 months, I want them paying full rent on it. You know, we have several things, but these have done the work, and work will show that, you know, your work ethic shows a lot about you. And your participation, you know, if you're going to be a trustee in Wright County, you have to participate in these programs. You know, parenting skills, anger management, so many different things you have to do. And we're not perfect. We have about a 50% success rate, which, you know, isn't great, but it's better than the national average on recidivism. But you know, there's just so many good people in jail that just need. And some of them are stupid more than once. You know, we've had some that have 2 or 3 convictions, but they finally get it. You know, I had one the other day tell me, you know, I'm 46 years old. It's my 3rd felony conviction. She said, but I finally got it. She said, Sheriff, I'll never be back in this jail again. She said, I finally got it.